A child abused often grows into an adult in trauma, psychologically. Parents who beat their children may be setting up their children for a lifetime of inner conflicts. A parent who beats a child has no love for a child, obviously, and the child beaten is a child subjected to the most horrific of behaviours, a total betrayal of natural order. A child beaten will blame him or herself. What did I do wrong that my parents so hate me? Becomes the common inner narrative. In such a way, the mind of a child beaten may come to fragment between an angry, rebellious part seeking to revenge for the ultimate of abuses, a violence of a parent against their own child, and a part which desperately longs for the love so denied. As a child so abused in early life grows, he or she may come to feel all is not right in their inner world. They will come to be aware of conflicting parts. Anger and the need for love are no endearing psychological combination. Something is not as we have been told, meaning perhaps it be intelligent to ignore or at least question what we have been told and begin to look anew for ourselves to contrast our own view of what we are with what we have been led to believe. The mind is now a divided affair. The hurts and pains received during a brutally raised childhood have no outlet for a child. They must be suppressed. A child cannot rationalize that his parents are stressed, that they live in a brutally competitive world, are non-understanding of life, and so full of fears, worries, hopes, and desires. Many parents have children without any real consideration for the life they are to raise, nor for the responsibility which such raising naturally demands. But once the damage is done, once the child has been beaten for years or abused in any way, and an adult later comes to find themselves an inner victim of a legacy of that abuse, the abuse will not end when the abuse ends for many. Obtrusive thinking shall take its place. How might a person deal with inner thoughts they do not wish to be experiencing? It is not uncommon for a child so abused to later themselves become an abuser, meaning they began to manifest thoughts of abuse themselves, which they subsequently acted out on. All of this psychological turmoil denies any possibility of a deep relationship to life. And life is only relationship. The approach to resolving such seemingly unresolvable issues, rooted in our dead pasts, may seem rather counterproductive, to say the least. We need run towards the problem, never away from it. In this world so full of experts, we have all been educated to accept the words of a learned other, to seek out an authority through which to approach our own personal problems. If we do so with our own mind, we will be forever lost. The approach here, the accurate approach, is to look deeply into the problem without distorting from it. Distortion comes to the mind which seeks an outcome. If you seek an outcome, you are on a path, travelling in time to reach a desired end. This is similar to ambitious pursuits and is a trained psychological societal mechanism of capitalism to achieve in time. It is of little use truly in understanding any psychological inner issues, and yet this is the programmed conceptual approach we have all been educated to deal with our lives. We need another approach than this. And that approach is to simply look, to look without any distraction, or introduction of distorting elements. Our thinking itself can become just such a distortion. Looking is not thinking. Is it possible to look at your thoughts without using your thoughts? Is it possible to listen to the never-ending movement of thought inside without judging it, without any sense of inner evaluation? If it is possible to accomplish such a thing, then perhaps for the first time in adult life, a person may come to view their thinking consciousness without the divisions which words bring to the mind, and so without a need for security or any feeling to protect oneself from an unwanted inner movement. In such a state, the observer, which is the traditionally educated thinker, a fragment within thinking itself, may come to an end. In coming to an end, the divisions within the mind between thinker and thoughts will come to an end. Conflict needs this division to continue. The mind, in being exposed to its total movement, finds its completion. As long as part of a mind is trying to battle an opposing part of the same mind, all energy emanating from the same brain in the same human consciousness, then conflict can never have an end. The understanding of our inner problems, in fact, all problems, certainly including problems which may arise within our complex process of traditional thinking, will come to us only when we find the ability within ourselves to patiently observe, watch, and contemplate the movements of our inner thinking without adding anything to it and without being an observer to it. We will find an end to obtrusive thoughts. In the same way, we will bring sanity to our minds and heal our world by facing the problem as it is and letting the problem tell us its complete story in every minute detail. For it is only when we meet a problem without resistance to it and without seeking to solve it that we find any ability to actually solve it. If we act positively, forever seeking a direction, we are only continuing the very thing we seek to end.